tell, Cockerel. He's just a true guy. You'll have a true time. Tell, Cockerel. Leave your troubles at the door. You know the game, you know the score. We're here to have fun, so holster that gun and read the writing on the wall. The predictions leak, done every week. It just goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? Tell, Cockerel. He's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. Tell, Cockerel. Jose gets himself around. Always talking Spurs, wherever he is found, home or away. He always tips to win, throws the form book in the bin with a cheeky knowing grin. Tell, Cockerel. He's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. Tell, Cockerel.
Good morning, everyone. That was a bit weird. Right, let me just change it around. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're all well. Today is Remembrance Sunday. Started the show a bit later to give people an opportunity to reflect and to observe 2 minutes silence worldwide for those who have fallen in serving their nations worldwide. Yeah, so welcome to Jose and Chang. We talk Tottenham on a Sunday morning, as you're well aware. And we normally do the show where we talk about the previous week. So we spoke last week on Sunday because we just finished playing Chelsea. And since then, we've had 2 matches. So we've got 2 matches and we've got news for these last 7 days to talk about. I hope everybody is well. Chang, good evening to you, young man. Are all your gremlins sorted now?
Everything's sorted. Thank you so much for bearing with me. And cannot wait to get this show underway. Yes, as you rightly mentioned, we have so much to digest and get through the last 7 days since that's rather disappointing home defeat in the league to Chelsea by a 1-0. And without further ado, straight back to you, Senor Garcia.
So I'll start off by saying good morning to Ryan Trestane. I hope you're well, sir, and happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. And a very good morning to Shemtam. He says, morning, Mr. Bossman Jose, and the youngest looking old man, Mr. Jimmy Chang. Hope you are both well today. And then we've got Joe Bloggs is here. He says, good evening, Jose and Chang. Good evening, Joe Bloggs. I hope you are well as well. Well, we need to start somewhere, Chang. So start for today is obviously we played on Wednesday night, and it's the Copenhagen.
Was it Wednesday night or Tuesday night?
Sorry, Tuesday night. Tuesday night. So there you go. It's the Copenhagen result on Tuesday night. It's the first game, 4-0 victory for Tottenham. Champions League match under the lights at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. What are your thoughts, Chang? Or what were your thoughts going into it? Because we spoke and we were hoping last Sunday when we did the show that we would turn up and put in a performance.
Okay, yeah. So that was the one match where I went the extra mile to wake up at 3 in the morning to watch the game before going to work, and I'm so very glad I caught it. I watched it in its entirety. I mean, that was a complete turnaround compared to the midweek defeat to Newcastle in the League Cup, and also the home defeat in the league proper to Chelsea. We made the changes. We put a lot of youngsters on the bench, and I was very glad that we got the clean sheet at the end of the game. We got the goals. It was well deserved. I mean, so many of the players whom I have been crowing about, hoping that they get their first goals for us in a Spurs shirt. Both of them being Xavi Simons and Randall Kolo Muani. They got the business done for us, and I think it's only a matter of time that one of them will score for us. But unfortunately, it didn't happen in midweek. Neither did it happen yesterday. We'll go into that later, but more on Tuesday nights. I mean, what can I say? Xavi Simons, well, that was a glimmer of what he's fully capable of. I think there is still going to be a lot more to come from him. I am somewhat pleased for Randall Kolo Muani himself. I thought he had ample chances to, at the very least, notch a goal, but unfortunately, luck wasn't in his favor. He will have to bide his time before he does register his first goal for us in a Spurs kit. But yeah, I mean, even when we were down to 10 men, I think the result was never in doubt. And what can I say? What more can I say about Van der Ven? I'm sure
We'll
we'll
talk
go
about him
into
later.
this.
Yeah, we'll
Yes,
talk about
correct.
it later.
We'll go about it later. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. So I'm not going to spoil that. But all in all, a good day in the office, despite going down to 10 men. And yeah, I think Brendan Johnson has to learn to, to sort of curb his enthusiasm, diving into tackles, start showing leg off the ground, and so on and so forth. But yeah, all in all, good day in the office for us, and onwards and upwards for us. I did mention last Sunday, last we did this show, that I was hoping that we bounce back in midweek. We certainly did that. And yeah, we are still unbeaten in the Champions League. Of course, those 22 games unbeaten at home, the majority of them were actually played in both the Europa Conference and also the Europa League. So let's just see where this unbeaten run at home in the Champions League takes us. And you never know. You never know what will happen after the international break. I'm sure we will be able to cover PSG in the Champions League when the international break is over. But for now, let's just soak up this midweek win and focus on the league proper as the show progresses. Having said that, back to you, Senor Garcia.
Yeah, for me, the Copenhagen result, and can I say good morning as well to Ronnie, who's here, says, hello, Jose, Mr. Chang. Still can't believe we didn't hold on for the 3 points. Wayne Bonner is here, says, good morning, folks. Hope you're all well and having a good Sunday. And then also says, the positive side, we didn't lose another home game, and we didn't lose before an annoying international break. Joe Blogs is saying Copenhagen was a great result and I hoped it would give us some impetus for the Man United game. We literally gave Man United 3 points. I still think these players can be better utilised in attack. Ronnie says, no way Mbemo should have won a corner with 3 men on him. Then they score and don't get me started on it. We will cover Man United in a minute. We're still, as the show goes, because we talk about the previous 7 days, because we do our shows from Sunday to Sunday from this one. So we covered off everything up until last Sunday, and all we can cover off now today is we played 2 matches. We played Copenhagen, and then we played Man United. So we're going in order. So for me, Chang, the Copenhagen game, great result, 4-0. I'm going to go back. So on Sunday, we were screaming out for certain things. We're not screaming out, but we were saying, can we not try to break up the Paulinho Bentancur double pivot? He did that on Wednesday. He started with one, he started with one on Wednesday, which was Bentancur, which I think Bentancur had his best game in the Tottenham shirt since he's come back from his injury. And then obviously he got replaced in the second half by Paulinho, and Paulinho went on to score our 4th goal. So brilliant substitution. Then we've also got we also wanted Xavi to start. We felt that Xavi was too slow. Well, I did, because I was at the game at Chelsea. I was at Man United just as well. At Chelsea, I felt that Xavi was too slow in turning, and he didn't have a trick, didn't have a feint, couldn't drop his shoulder, couldn't get past the player. Well, he certainly did on Tuesday night, and I think that's given him a lot of confidence, because we will go on to the Man United games later. Also, I think we were all asking for Moani to play up top, and Moani started and played up top, and Moani assisted for the second goal, for Odebert's goal. So a lot of things that we were crying out for actually happened on Wednesday, and it was a great result. And it was a game of firsts, Chang, as I put in here. The game of firsts were Kyler Moani, first assist of the season. Xavi, first assist of the season, setting up Johnson for the first goal. Moani, first assist, setting up Odebert for the second goal. I mean, people will say, yeah, it's only Copenhagen. Well, people that reach the Champions League have reached the Champions League by right. Last season, I remember being in the Europa League, and I had people last year saying, yeah, but look at the teams in the Europa League. Then you look at the teams in the Champions League. Okay, so now we're playing in the Champions League. You get drawn to play against 8 different sides. One of them happens to be Copenhagen. So you can't turn around and say that Copenhagen are crap and that, because Copenhagen must have won their league, I think, in order to be in the Champions League. And, Copenhagen are higher ranked than a lot of teams that are playing the Europa League. So for last season, people were saying one thing, and now the goalposts have moved now that we're in the Champions League. It was a really good game on Wednesday night. There was a lot of positives to take. I mean, my surprise, in all honesty, was when Johnson got sent off, Chang. Right? Even though we played well to the point when he got sent off in the 57th minute. But the minute he got sent off, Thomas Frank, and I'm going to give him positives again, Thomas Frank made substitutions. Thomas Frank doesn't wait till the dying minute. Thomas Frank reacts. He makes substitutions to try and affect games. And he alluded to this in yesterday's press conference after the game, which we'll go into later. But he made changes, and Johnson was sent off, and I was like, oh, okay, so it's going to finish at 2-0 because we've gone down to 10 men. But we seemed to step up. I felt we seemed to step up after Johnson had gone off. It gave us a new lease of life, and we just went, woof, and we became an absolutely different animal and a different beast, Chan. What are your thoughts? Because it was a game of firsts.
Well, I think you put it quite well summarized. That we had that wonderful spell of something like 5 or 6 minutes immediately after Johnson was sent off. And I honestly thought that we could have scored at least 3 after that the DeVen goal, and that was followed by the Paulinho goal, and there was also another effort. I believe it was Kolo Muani. Kolo Muani tried to squeeze the ball through. Unfortunately, the keeper was up to it this time. But yeah, even before that, Jose, immediately after the Johnson standing off, I felt that because we were down to 10, everyone seemed to take it upon themselves to do extra, to see to it that we get all 3 points, to keep our unbeaten run at home in the Champions League. And you could see from the moment that Van der Ven won the ball at the edge of our own box and he made that darting run, everyone seemed up for it. Even via follow-up, the second goal after that, when we saw Romero of all players finding himself in a very promising position. And to his credit, he didn't take the shot on. He laid it off for, I believe it was Paulinho who scored. And immediately after that, there was also another chance, but that was a chance that the keeper was up to it. But even prior to that, even before the sending off Jose, I'm going to give kudos and I'm going to give credit to where credit is due. Randall Kolo Muani bearing down on goal. with the keeper well off his line and well beaten, I honestly thought that he would be able to coax the ball with his first touch into an empty net, slightly to his right, but he did the practical and wise thing to do, which was to bring it down and just lay it off for Odebeer to score his first goal of the season. And if anything, yeah, I will have to go back again to that signing off. That signing off actually might have been the one thing that everyone needed to just step up their game and play out their skins. And I think that could have been attributed to the way DeVen did exactly what Sonny did on the same pitch, running against that same goal against the South Stand. And I mean, what more can I say? I was actually half expecting us to get 5 goals to cap off what I can only describe as a 5-star performance. We might go into that Richarlison miss, the penalty miss, a little bit later. But for now, all I'll say is that that standing off really gave all the players, the remaining players on the pitch, extra focus, extra desire to just see off the game. And yeah, hopefully that will be a valuable lesson to all the players, especially those who were playing with the 10 men for the last half hour and so. And for Johnson himself, well, I didn't mention earlier, he has to learn how to keep his he has to learn how to curb his enthusiasm. Yeah, that was a really nasty challenge, and it could have gone either way. So unfortunately for him, it went against him. But yeah, as I mentioned earlier, he will learn from that. And yeah, I really do hope that this isn't a one-off as far as playing with 10 men is concerned and holding on to a lead scenarios here. Having said that, as always, back to you, FA.
Yeah, do you know what? I think, but Johnson for me, obviously we've brought players into the club, Chang, in the summer. Albeit we've brought Moani in, we've brought Kudus in, and we've brought Xavi in. These are the players that play. And I'm going to include Paulinho. We've brought Paulinho in as well. So therefore, although players left the club, you've brought players in, and Thomas Frank is a new manager, and Brennan Johnson was getting more starts under Ange and more game time under Ange than what he's getting under Thomas Frank at the moment. So I understand the need for Brennan Johnson to try and shine, because any footballer that's got that's worth their salt and has got an ounce of respect for themselves wants to be playing first team football. They don't want to be on the bench. They don't want to be left out of the squad. They want to be playing. So I think Johnson is trying extra hard to try and catch the eye, so he gets a run of games, or he's selected as a first teamer rather than an impact sub. So I can understand him doing the chasing back. I felt also as well, it was extremely harsh for him to be sent off, because he's, even with the slow motions, and although they called the referee over, even with the slow motions, referees, we know what they're like. Referees are not the same as yesteryear, where referees will make a decision and that was it. And that's what we abided by when I played football. I'm sure it's when you played football as well, Cheng. The referee blew his whistle, the referee gave something, and we abided by it. Whether we liked it or not, we abided by it. Now referees are sent to screens, and when they go to screens, it's their cop out. They can get out of it. Do you know what I mean? But I would have thought any self-respecting referee, yeah, by the letter of the law, you can turn around and say it's X, Y, and Z, right? But you can clearly see that he's gone in. He hasn't even gone for the player. His legs clearly bounced. The impact is bounced off the floor and then reached up, and you can see that's accidental. It wasn't even meant. It wasn't going for him. He wasn't no malice. There wasn't intent. There wasn't force. Yet the referee saw fit to send him off. Now it's interesting because I can't remember where the referee was from. Obviously, he was not from England, and obviously was not from Denmark. Had that been in the Premiership, I asked myself, if a referee in the Premiership had the same decision to make, would they have given a red card? I'm not sure they would have done. I'm not sure they would have done. But anyway, so yeah, he gets sent off. We're 2-0 up. As we said, there was firsts for more Xavi's assist for Johnson, then Moani's assist for Odebert, and then we went on to score goal number 3. Wow, wow, wow. Take a bow, Micky van der Ven. What did you... I'll let you go first, Chang.
I mean, what more can I say about that? I think I run out of superlatives to even describe that goal. If what Sonny did was jaw-dropping, I think what Van der Ven did as a centre back from the edge of his own box, pretty much around the same area where, if I remember, it was Jan Vertonghen. From around the same area, Jan Vertonghen laid the ball for Sonny for that Puskas award-winning goal against Burnley. Van der Ven did exactly that, and he actually a harder route to navigate through if you to watch the replay from behind our goal, meaning to say that you see Van der Ven running off into the distance to the south stand where he scored, and the replay is there for everyone to see. I just want to highlight the reactions that I saw from behind our goal, where you could see both Destiny Udogi and Odebir doing this. They were already doing this well before he took the shot on. That just said everything. That just told me that they were just completely bewildered, and they were just astounded by the way Van der Ven just took on the entire team. And to be able to finish with the calmness and composure that he did, even when we were down to 10, when when we had everything to do, despite having a 2-goal lead. I think that was very, very brave of him, and the bravado paid off. And you can see why. You can see why now Van der Ven is our joint leading top goal scorer for the current season. And I mean, I was actually a bit concerned that he might actually pull up later on in the game, having made that darting run, but luckily for us, he didn't. And yeah, if Sonny's goal against Burnley was worthy of a Puskas Award, well, that goal was worthy of a nomination alone. Whether will he win it or not, I mean, that's up to the panel. That's up to the voters, and whatever process goes through the Puskas Award. But I mean, let's be completely honest. That will be one of the best goals ever scored by a Spurs player in the Champions League. Let that sink in. Not in the Premiership, not in the domestic cup, but in the Champions League. Having said that, back to you, Sino Garcia.
What's interesting is I'm going to talk about the Man United game, because something happened in the Man United game yesterday that made not just me, but made about 60,000 fans. I'm going to include the Man United fans. It made all 62,210 or whatever. Made everyone stand and sort of like gasp again yesterday. But I will come on to that. Micky van der Ven's goal, for me, it's not just worth a nomination. It has won the Puskas Award. For me, it was better than Sonny's, and I've got to say that. Sonny's goal was absolutely brilliant, sublime, world-class goal, worthy of winning the Puskas Award. But for me, this one beat it. This one actually beat it. This was the wow. As I said, it was the wow moment. And I've got a feeling that when this was shown worldwide through news channels, because when the Champions League is covered, because it involves so many different nations from Europe, it means that they get to see it a bit like we do here in England. It's all on TNT. You get all the matches. You can see all the goals. Well, I would have thought that providers in their own countries would have something similar. So this goal would have been seen worldwide. And I cannot. As soon as it went in, I thought Puskas winner. These goals come once in a lifetime. You would have thought, but Tottenham have now been involved in 2 of them. Sonny showed us the blueprint, and Micky van der Ven, the AI footballer, went and replicated it, but and some. And it's interesting because who's the boy that played at Southampton, El Yunusi, who's probably their quickest player. El Yunusi ran with Van DeVen all the way, and all you could see, El Yunusi, Van DeVen made it look so easy as he was running up front, and that shows you what his cruising speed is. That he left El Yunusi, and El Yunusi only caught up with him and fell the minute that Van DeVen struck the goal. People need to understand how difficult it is to run at full pelt, and also people. I don't know if you've seen it, Chang. I've played football for many years with people that were wingers, right, and that would take people on, or forwards that would be put through, and you run at full pelt, and then when it comes to teeing off your shot, you've lost all your energy in running, that you've got no power in your shot. Well, Van der Ven had power. Van der Ven had power in his shot to finish it off, and that is such a hard skill to do. It was a wow. Micky van der Ven makes it 3-0 against Copenhagen. And then you think to yourself, okay, 3-0. But no. Odeberg goes and wins the ball off their left back or their left wing back, and then runs with the ball, and he puts through Christian Romero. And I'm like, hold on, Romero? You got Van der Ven, and now Romero is up there, and it was a bit too far for Romero. And I think when Romero had run up the pitch, he expended so much energy getting up there that when the ball just went past him, instead of trapping it and putting it through the laces, he actually crossed the ball back. And I thought it was a bad pass, but it ended up being a good one. And it's got to Paulinho, who puts it into the back of the net. 4-0 victory. When we went 4-0 up, Chang, I thought, like you said earlier, Chang, you said you thought it was going to be 5-0. We actually went on to create more chances. It's as if as I said, Johnson, we controlled the game. Don't get me wrong. We controlled the game up until 2-0 anyway. And we were playing well. But the Johnson thing seemed to be the litmus paper for us to go insane. And the amount of attacking we did when we went down to 10 men was far greater than the attacking that we did earlier when we were 2-0 up.
I mean, honestly, I just want to touch a bit on this aftermath of the Chelsea game leading to this Tuesday night's game. The response, not only from the players, but Van der Ven especially, where a lot of the people, a lot of the fans in the crowd caught that video of him and Jet Spence blanking Thomas Frank at full time after the Chelsea loss. Well, I think that goal and that all-round performance was the perfect reply as to what they are all perfectly capable of if they are given a chance and the formation to do what was expected of them. And I think that we need a lot more than just one performance of such grandeur at this big stage. I was actually hoping for more of the same yesterday afternoon, but we're going to get into that a little later, because that is where I then draw my comparisons between the two squads, or rather the two, competitions, both the Champions League and the domestic league proper. And I honestly think that the players, especially those who are playing in the league at home, more than anything, I think they have to really get it up. They really have to take it upon themselves that nothing can be taken for granted, not even the starting berths in that starting 11. And for me, I think it's very, very important that whoever puts on this jersey, if they are wearing the crest, they have to give their all, not just for a one-off knockout cup competition or the Champions League group stages. It's all competitions, and that's where I'm going to go into the home game against United later as the show progresses. But all in all, I would say this as a final say on our perfect performance in midweek against Copenhagen. We are still unbeaten in the Champions League, 22 now at home across all competitions, all European competitions, the Champions League, the Europa League, and also the Conference League. And I think that we need to build upon this so that it's not just a flash in a pan, it's not a fluke. It's very important that the players themselves know that nothing can be taken for granted, not at this level, not when it's coming to the business end now, where teams are shaping up in the group stages to want to qualify for that automatic qualification straight into the last 16. No, not the last 16, the quarterfinals. So yeah, I really do expect the lads to kick on, especially when we play PSG next. But until such time, I am still going to enjoy this unbeaten home run in Europe. And yeah, onwards and upwards for us for all those glory nights that we are left to savor in the Champions League. Having said that, back to you, Senor Garcia.
Yeah, I mean, people say win your home games. Sorry. People, to get into the top 24, you need to have, measuring it on last season, you need to get at least 10 points. 10 points gets you into the 24 usually, or did last year. The fact that we scored 8 points already, 2 wins at home, 2 away draws. If you win your home games, you're going to be in the 24. It's interesting because I looked at the tables the other day, and I think that 6 teams are representing England at the moment in the Champions League, and all 6 teams are in the top 12 at the moment after halfway through after 4 games. So you've got 4 in the top 8, which are Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, and I'm missing one. Who am I missing?
Is it Newcastle?
Yeah, Newcastle, right? And then in 10th, it's Tottenham, and in 12th, it's Chelsea. So the English clubs are absolutely domineering European football at the moment in the sense of where their placements are. I saw a stat the other day and it was something about how many games the English teams have won across the board in their respective games. And then you look at the Spanish teams, and then you look at the German teams, you look at the Italian teams, and the amount of points picked up and the games won, drawn, and lost by the English teams. I know there's more teams, but even if you put it down per ratio per game, the points and the ratios per game are so much that they're out of sight, the UK teams, the English teams. So, if that carries on, and you've got Palace, I think Crystal Palace sit just outside the top 8 in the conference. But then you've got Forest are not running the flag, but Villa are up in the top 8 of the Europa League. If it continues like that, then there's no reason why England shouldn't get 5 spots from league placings next year. Could be a 6th if anything happens with Aston Villa or with Crystal Palace. You get 6th or 7th place, 6 or 7 places, but also 6 places. But it was a great start to it's a great start, being a great start to the campaign. Chang, I don't know what's happening. It looks like he's frozen, so I'm going to remove Chang and hopefully he'll join us again. Oh no, he's back. He's completely frozen, but he's back now. Okay.
Sorry about that.
Just to catch up with the chat. Never red carpet Johnson. Ridiculous decision. Wasn't impressed at all. Richie selfishly taking the penalty regardless of his comments. Yeah, sorry. We'll finish off with the Copenhagen game now. Yeah, we had the Richarlison hit the crossbar with a header, which was unlucky, and then we had Scarlett come on, and I must admit, yesterday I was asking for Scarlett to come on yesterday as well towards the end of the game of the Man United game, because he's hungry, Scarlett, and he needs some. He wants things he wants to play for Tottenham. He didn't get a loan move. So it's make or break for him if he's not going to get the chances. Hopefully, just that cameo alone we're hoping will get him a move or a loan move in the winter window. But then you had the Richarlison penalty miss. I really wanted Richarlison to score. I really did. I want every Tottenham player to score. but I really wanted Richarlison to score. But yeah, it wasn't to be. It hit the crossbar, didn't it, and came out.
He hit the crossbar, and unfortunately, the rebound didn't fall kindly for any of our other players to sort of gobble it up in the follow up from that. But I think even then when he stepped up, he didn't look all that confident. There was a sort of stutter, a sort of like a second guessing where he was going to place the ball. In the end, he took the safe option, which is to go straight down the middle, and hopefully, if the keeper was lying prone and the shot had a bit of dip in it, it would have gone under the crossbar. Unfortunately, we all saw what happened. It rattled the crossbar, the upper portion of the crossbar, straight down the middle, and yeah, I was actually glad that he actually hit the crossbar rather than sky the shot into Rosie, which would have been a whole lot worse. But you could see at that time, even at the time, you could see that his confidence was down, and he didn't strike me as a sort of a player who should have started yesterday. And I'm sure we're going to go into that in just a while more. But I mean, all in all, I really thought that Dane Scarlett should have stepped up to to try and notch his first ever Champions League goal. I think maybe it was down to team orders, or maybe even an understanding amongst all the Spurs players that Richarlison should try to break his cold streak leading up to yesterday's game. It didn't work in his favor. It sure as hell didn't work for us yesterday. The first hour or so of the game before those final crazy few minutes in extra time. But here's hoping that Richarlison gets his confidence and also his mojo back, because we are going to really need all our players back at full throttle once this mini international break is over. The fixtures aren't very kind to us. If anyone has the fixtures after international break, somewhere in the middle of November. So yeah, fingers crossed, everybody. Fingers crossed that Richarlison finds his form back, because we are really going to need every last bit of him from between now to the end of the season, assuming Kolo Muani himself still isn't going to be scoring or even finding a lot more assists from between now to the end of the calendar year. Having said that, back to you, Senor Garcia.
So we then moved on away from the Copenhagen game, and we went to yesterday's game, the Man United draw. Lucky Singh's in the chat. Good morning or good evening or good afternoon to you, Lucky. It's been a while since I last saw you. Obviously, you've come back because it's Man United and you've put your points across. I took a lot of shorts yesterday from the stadium, a hell of a lot of shorts, and I put them on my channel, and I got a lot of live stuff as well, obviously because they're shorts. I got a live stuff, so I've actually got some of the goals that were scored yesterday. I caught them live. The Paulinho chance where the goalkeeper made a save, I called it live as well. So I've caught quite a bit. Now, there was a fair few Man United people commenting on my shorts yesterday, and they were saying that they should have won the game. Ruben Amorim, after the game, said they should have won the game as well. The 3 points was there. We should have won it. We were the better side. I was at the game yesterday. I'm going to turn around and say to you guys, Man United weren't the better side. The stats tell you that we had 10 shots on total shots to Man United's 5. We had 4 on target to Man United's 2. We had 3 off target to Man United's 2. We completed more passes than Man United. We had 55% possession against 45% of the possession. We had 3 clear-cut chances to Man United's 2 clear-cut chances. We had 5 corners to Man United's 3 corners. Man United blocked 3 defensive blocks, and we blocked 1. We made more tackles than Man United, 15-18, and Man United won more aerial duels, 18-14. Goalkeeping saves. Man United's goalkeeper made 2 saves. One, I think, was from Paulinho, and the other one was from Romero. which I thought were going to be 2 good goals. So at the end of the day, it was a good game of football. Don't get me wrong. It was a good game of football. It's a battle between two sides that are probably quite evenly matched in my eyes. From watching the game on the evidence I watched yesterday, 2 quite evenly matched sides. I will say, with no disrespect, Man United have improved on the lineup that they had last year against us. I'm going to agree with Lucky. I thought Amad Diallo had a good game. Amad Diallo is always, to me, looks a really good footballer anyway. Mbuemo did okay. Cunha did absolutely nothing. Cunha was more worried about trying to lay one on Romero, and Romero was worried about trying to lay one on Cunha. Obviously, the Argentinian Brazilian thing. I don't know what it is between these South American teams, but they looked like they were going to try and outdo each other. In midfield, I think Man United look light. I think they're easy to play through with Bruno and Casemiro there. When they brought Mason Mount on, people saying, "Oh, Mason Mount's coming on," and I was like, "God, great! That's even better for us because we've walked through Man United's midfield. We walked through Man United's midfield when they've had Casemiro, Ugarte, Fernandes, and Mason Mount. When I've had 3 of them 4, we've walked through their midfield. The only time we haven't really walked through Man United's midfield is when Kobe Mainoo's played in the 3. But Kobe Mainoo was nowhere to be seen yesterday. I would take Kobe Mainoo at Tottenham. So if Man United, if Mamarin continues and persists and doesn't want Mainoo, if we can get Mainoo in January, I would go for Mainoo. Mainoo's a superb player. He's a progressive footballer in the 8 role who would progress the ball up the pitch. So the game yesterday, it was a draw, right? But from it being a draw yesterday, I felt there was a lot of positives. This is me being at the game. I felt there was a lot of positives. Chang, did you watch the whole game yesterday?
I watched the first half hour of it straight after the pre-match pump up on We Are Tottenham TV ended. I watched the first half hour of the game till about 9 p.m. where I had to put both my daughters to bed before continuing on an hour later to watch the last quarter of the game from 10 p.m. onwards. So I can only sum up what I saw in the first half hour of that first half, where I thought it was pretty drab, pretty dull affair. Neither team had any shots on goal yet for the first half hour before Mbuemo scored with his header. I did look at the XG to see if we have improved from our 0.05 XG last Saturday against Chelsea. It was slightly better in our favor. We had 0.07 XG compared to United's 0.05. So there wasn't much improvement from last Saturday. And yeah, I'm so glad I didn't watch the next hour or so of football that we were playing leading up to the Matthijs Tel substitution, the Tel and Odebeer substitutions in the second half. So yeah, there wasn't much to talk about in the first half, or rather the first half hour that I watched, but I'm pretty sure we are going to have a lot to discuss, especially come the final quarter of the game, including those few crazy minutes of injury time in after the normal regulation 90. So yeah, Jose, I think we still have lots to learn. We still have a lot to build upon. The last 2 games back to back at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Hopefully, we still have time. We still have ample time to work on our defensive play, especially when it comes to protecting a lead. Because honestly, that's last cup's equalizer by the lead of the corner, the Bruno Fernandes corner, that felt like a loss. It felt like 2 points drop and not 1 point gain at the final whistle. So that's all I will have to say from those few minutes that I watched. But I'd like to get your view on this, Jose. Leading up to the substitutions, do you think we could have made those substitutions a whole lot sooner with the older beer and cell substitutions to try and affect the game rather than let it drag on and leave Richarlison on the pitch? Or do you think that maybe the timing was just about right for Thomas Frank to ring the changes that included Javi Simons being taken off, and rather to my surprise, boos ringing out from the home faithful when the substitutions were made, Senor Garcia?
So the substitutions were made. Odebert came on at half time for Moani because we only know now what happened, but Moani had taken a smash to the jaw from Maguire, and then Moani didn't come back out for the second half. So Odebert was a half-time substitution. Destiny Udogie replaced Pedro Porro in the 67th minute. That could have been done maybe slightly earlier because Pedro Porro didn't have his best game yesterday. Bentancur and Matthias Tell replaced Paulinho and Simmons in the 79th minute. And Danso replaced Ramiro in the 88th minute. For me, there's a lot of positives in the sense of Thomas Frank, right? Thomas Frank, he was interviewed after the game yesterday, right? And he said, I make substitutions. I don't care about the people boo or they disagree or agree with what I do. Every substitution I make, whatever minute it may well be in, it's to go and win the game. Whether it's to attack to find more goals, whether it's to shut up shop. So when in the past, when he's brought Danso on to make the extra defender, so we've got 3 at the back, we're playing 5 at the back. When we're winning, it's to hold on to the result. He says whether I make a substitution for an attacking purpose or to close up shop, it's always with the intent to go and win the game and not lose. And that's exactly what he's been doing, and that's exactly what he did yesterday. I think from watching, I felt the substitutions against Chelsea took far too long, right? Because the Chelsea game, and I'm going back a week, it was awful. It was the worst game I've ever seen for Tottenham. But in the Chelsea game, there were so many players that were so far off it, so far off it, that we needed to ignite. We needed to kick up the backside. We could have made substitutions a lot earlier against Chelsea. But against Copenhagen, I think the substitutions were made at the right time. And as I alluded to earlier, from losing Johnson, we went insane after losing Johnson, and the substitutions made us go into overdrive. The substitutions yesterday, Odebert. Now, this is the lots of positives for me. The positives for me yesterday were Udogie provides balance. So Jed Spence might be a one-to-one marking defender, but to provide balance to your teams, we have so much balance when Udogie plays at left back, because he's naturally left-footed. So we have so much balance. So I would like to see, I don't want him to get burnt out, but I would like to see Udogie start at left-back more often than not. The rotation can then happen between Spence and Porro. It's Thomas's choice. And then if you need to, if you rotate them, if one of them has to come and sub, then you just switch people around like he did yesterday. He switched Spence to right back and put Udogie at left back and took Porro off. In the midfield, once more, he started without the double pivot at home, or a second match on the trot without a double pivot, and he started with Paulinho yesterday. So he started with Bentancur against Copenhagen, Paulinho yesterday, and made the substitution like for like. I thought Xavi improved yesterday. A couple of times he slipped when he was running with the ball, and you thought the wind had blown him like that. But or the fact was, just before the game had started, and I'll be honest, just before the game had started, all the sprinklers came on. They put all the sprinklers on the pitch just before the game started, and the sprinklers they come out and they shoot. They do shoot quite a bit of water, because I was high enough and close enough to see it all. And they really did it yesterday before the game started. So I don't know whether that wetted the pitch. But anyway, Xavi, improvement. confidence booster against Copenhagen. I thought Xavi played well yesterday. Still learning, but played well. Moani, for me, played really well. I think Moani, you've got to find space for. It's interesting because I'm saying you've got to find a space for Moani, Xavi, Kudos, and Solanke when Solanke's back fit. You've got to find for them spaces. But Odebert is gaining in confidence every single game he plays. Yesterday, he took on his fullback. Because on my criticism, Chang, I keep saying this all the time. Last week, I said Odebert only went past. Odebert only went past Malo Gusto once last week. Yeah. So I'm on winger watch. I want to see how many times, because Kudos is a one-on-one take on specialist. But it's interesting. He is gaining so much. Odebert, once he gets a bit more run in the team and he gets more confidence in that, he will be an electric player because he has got the skill. He's got the attributes to take people on. So Odebert for me is a positive again yesterday. Matthias Tell, the much maligned Matthias Tell, who people keep ripping and going. Matthias Tell, give him chances. How many goals has he now scored this season? Matthias Tell is scoring goals. Matthias Tell, the way he took his goal yesterday, and he linked up play when he came on, and he was all over the pitch, running everywhere. Matthias Tell, give him a chance. These people get away from the fact these boys are really, really young. And I think people have gone really early to say, well, not worth having Tell, not worth having Odebert. I think people have gone on early. People said not worth having Gray. You know, people have gone so early on these players, not giving these players an opportunity to grow. I mean, I watched a on Sky Sports yesterday, the day before. They had it's a short. They do 15-minute programs, and they did a short on Moses Caicedo from when he was playing out in Ecuador and the team he played for before he went to Brighton, and when he went to Brighton and then went to Chelsea. Moses Caicedo was really, really young. I mean, Moses Caicedo is probably only 23 at the moment, but he was really young when he came to England to play for Brighton. But you know, you learn as you're playing, and then he got his move to Chelsea. It's taken him time to establish himself to be what he is now. It's taken him 3 to 4 years to get to where he is now. People are jumping so early on some of our players, it's beyond belief. But for me, Matthias Tell was positive. His goal was positive. Another positive was that we restricted Man United's chances, so Vicario didn't have to be the world saver like he was against Chelsea and other previous games where he saved a load of goals. Vicario didn't have much to do yesterday at all. The only negative for Vicario yesterday was, why does he stand inside his goal? If he stood on his line, he saves Matthias de Ligt's header, in my eyes. You used to be a goalkeeper, Chan, so you can tell me from your point of view. But I mean, I never was a goalkeeper, but to see, I saw that the goal had gone in, but it's not till I got home and watched the highlights and saw the reruns of the goals that I actually saw that Vicario standing inside his goal. And therefore, standing inside his goal, he's put his hand up and the ball goes palmed into the actual net because he's standing inside the goal.
I mean, honestly, his positioning could have been a whole lot better. And even looking at his the way he commanded his box throughout, I thought both goals by United was savable, especially the second one, the corner. And if I were to go as far back as the Mbuemo header, I thought that even that as well, if he had more composure, if he had been tracking the ball before the ball had been headed goal bound, he would have been able to get some sort of a purchase on it. Unfortunately for him and for us as well, the fans, it's another one of those games to forget for Vicario. If you cast your mind back, I believe it was it the Monaco game? Yeah, I think it was the Monaco game where he single-handedly kept us in the game and earned us a respectable draw against Monaco. Well, yesterday was one to forget for Vicario. I am still fully behind him. I still feel that he still has a lot of room for growth, and the potential, the ceiling for his potential is still quite high. But these are the sort of games where he needs to properly step up. It's not the first time, actually. This is not the first time we've seen Vicario mess up against United this calendar year. If you were to cast your mind back to Bilbao, that spill when he clattered into Bentancur. And if it wasn't for Micky van der Ven's acrobatic clearance, it could have been a whole different outcome in Bilbao. But Vicario still has this in his game that he needs to eradicate, and the faster he does it, the better. Not just for our sake, for his sake as well. If he even considers himself to be in a reckoning for the Italian setup to the World Cup. All in all, I would say this, that Vicario still has a lot to improve on, and hopefully that will be the last time. This will be the last time where we concede so late in the game. I mean, again, I will have to say this again on repeat, that it was definitely 2 points drop rather than 1 point gain at the end of the final whistle. But let's just be thankful. Let's just be thankful. And this is why I always bring this up. I will forever be thankful for any game that we avoid defeat just before the international break, like the previous international break. So thankfully, yes, it's another pre-international break game that we've avoided defeat. But come on, it could very well have been 5 wins in a row against United across all competitions, stemming back to Postecoglou's final season with us. Let's just see what happens in the reverse fixture, because I believe we were actually level on points with United yesterday before the game. We are still level on points with United after yesterday's game, and both us and United had the chance to temporarily go up to second in the league before today's matches. But I'm still well chuffed that we were able to avoid defeat before the international break. But come on, if we are looking to qualify for Europe next season via the league proper, these are the games that we should be winning. And we had every right to consider yesterday's afternoon game a smash and grab, the way things were going. So let's lean on the positives, as you alluded to at the very beginning of the show. And hopefully we get all our players back after the international break without any fresh injuries or concerns when everyone is back from their international matches. Having said that, back to you, Senor Garcia.
The thing I'm going to say, Chang, is that Arsenal, right, 7 years into their process to where they are now, 7 years, 6 years, 6 or 7 years. It's been a long time for Arsenal. Chelsea under Maresca, they started under the Todd Bowley era, doing things to where they are now. So Chelsea have been in a process for maybe 4 seasons to where they are now. Man City are in a regular process all the time. The Man City add little components every single season. Sunderland, I don't fully expect Sunderland to be anywhere near the top 4 or 5 come the end of the season. Then you've got Tottenham, have been together for 3 months. 3 months. You've got Arne Slot, second season now with Liverpool. They're below us, but they're playing today. But then you've got Bournemouth, who I don't expect Bournemouth to be in the top 5 at all, right? Then you've got Manchester United in 8th, right? Same points as us, just goal difference separates us by 3 places because we have a healthy, positive goal difference compared to everybody else around us. But Man United are in season 2 under Amorim, so they're a year and a bit in advance of Thomas Frank, all right, and they're in 8th. The only other teams that you would think that might push it out a bit would be Villa, who are currently 12th, 3rd year under Emery. Newcastle are currently 14th, third or fourth year under Howe now. It might even be 4 years now under Howe. So we context for absolutely everything that we talk about. Context. Tottenham are in the process, whether people like it or not. People should understand, when you get rid of one manager, you bring in another. When you get rid of another manager, you bring in another. You're restarting the cycle again. And the reason why we're restarting the cycle again is that we've gone from if we had gone from Pochettino to Ange, then you know that you're playing the same type of football, i.e. the attacking type of football. But when you go from Pochettino to Mourinho, Mourinho to Conte, Conte to Ange, to Nuno, Mourinho to Nuno to Conte to Ange, now Frank, it means you're playing different systems, different styles, totally different. The process restarts all over again because you're playing different processes. You've got to get things right. And to get things right, everybody builds their team from back to front. Regardless of what people like, it's back to front. So you get your defensive solidity and your defensive play sorted out first, and then you concentrate on attack after. Whether we like it or not, the Tottenham way is always to attack. But whether we like it or not, football has always been like that. Sort your defence out first and then attack after. Right? He's doing this. If people are going to be absolutely honest to themselves, listen, if there was no social media, right, and we were having this conversation away from cameras and stuff like that, and like you normally do, because this is all social media, you would be saying to one another, right, yeah, he needs 2 or 3 transfer windows to build a squad, right? But because we're on social media and we want everything yesterday and done last week, people criticise and overly criticise. And now Thomas Frank's a crap manager. This player's crap, that player's crap. Things have changed so much, and social media has done this. There's a lot of people on social media that will try and direct you and try and influence you in such a way. Yeah. All I say to people is, have your own thoughts. Whether you agree with mine or not, I don't care. It doesn't bother me. But have your own thoughts. Let your thoughts come from yourself, not from someone who's guided you or followed you. Yeah. Or you follow. Let your thoughts come from yourself. We all support our team or teams, right? Support them in your own way. Be real to yourself. That's what I'm going to say. Be real to yourself, to people. But for me, the other thing I wanted to say about yesterday's game, I took a lot of shorts. Nita, thank you very much, because Nita's commented to say that she's watched a lot of the shorts. So the shorts that I did shorts of both Man United. I did shorts on Tottenham Hotspur as well. But at half time, do you know who the halftime guest speaker was? None other than Mr. King of the Lane, Glenn Hoddle. And
Wow.
I managed to get the first 5 minutes of it on a short. I did the first 5 minutes of him on a short. So it was great to have Glenn Hoddle there at the stadium yesterday. He wasn't doing punditry work because he was actually talking. I don't think he was doing punditry work because he's actually being interviewed at half time. So it's actually on my yeah, I've got a short there. So if you go into my short videos, you'll see that I've got live from the stadium, Glenn Hoddle being interviewed. So I did the first 5 minutes. I didn't know how long it was going to go on for, so I only did the first 5 minutes. And the other thing I'm going to say, Chang, you asked me something earlier. You said something earlier about the crowd booing, right? I actually had this as a talking point. I said special mention to the crowd. The reason why I say this, Chang, is I've been to Burnley, I've been to Bournemouth, I've been to Aston Villa, I've been to Chelsea, and I've been to Man United. So I've done 5 out of the 6 home games so far this season. The only one I haven't been to was Wolves. The only 2 coming up that I'm not going to up until the new year are Fulham, and because it's 8 o'clock in the evening and I'll never get back home, and Liverpool. I didn't manage to get hold of tickets when they first went out on sale for Liverpool, but I could probably get a ticket for it now. But it is the last Saturday before Christmas, 5:30 in the evening kickoff, and I'm just thinking to myself, maybe I might just stay away from that one because I'm going to. Who else am I going to? I'm going to Brentford. I've got my Brentford tickets already. I've got Sunderland tickets already, and I've already got West Ham. So that takes me to the middle of January. and I've already applied for my half-season ticket, which starts from the Man City game and takes in all the last 8 games as well. So I've been to 5 games. So therefore, what I'm talking about special mention, I feel that I'm in a position to do so because I've been to the games. The game against Burnley, the crowd were all right. Not what I expected from White Hart Lane, but the crowd were fine. The crowd against Bournemouth, the crowd against Aston Villa, probably because we were losing the games, but even before the game started and before we conceded goals and before we were losing, flat. It was like a coffin bowl. Chelsea, who are one of our biggest rivals, yeah, we were fire. The crowd were on fire from 5 to 3 to 3 o'clock. The minute 3 o'clock came, the crowd went quiet. However, my special mention is for yesterday. Yesterday, I felt the crowd were behind the team for the whole game. Yes, there was booing when he made the substitution for Xavi Simons. They did boo, the crowd did, because obviously Xavi was having a good game and people want to see more of Xavi because he spent all this money on a creative player. So people want to see more of Xavi. So I understand, well, I don't understand, but there was booing and I can relate to where the booings come from. But throughout the game, throughout the whole game, Tottenham was singing. Tottenham was singing. Tottenham got behind their team throughout the whole game. And that is a special mention to the crowd. And I'm also going to mention it. I'm going to mention Man United because when they scored their goals, I put shorts up of when they scored because you've got to be fair. You've got to be impartial. Even though I support Tottenham, I covered all 4 goals that were scored. And Man United fans, they were superb. They were superb. They got shut down a few times because when they were singing, Tottenham then began with Champions of Europe, we know who we are. So they shut down Man United a few times. And that's what I mean. Do you know what I mean? They shut them down a few times. But the crowd, I thought the crowd were just the best crowd I've been to this season. And that's why I'm saying a special mention to the crowd. I'm not sure what you could hear through the television, Chang. I don't know what your thoughts are on what I just said.
The first half hour was rather flat and rather predictably because we didn't get a foothold in the game until maybe after the break when Odebeer came on. And yeah, I thought that the one overriding reaction for me from the crowd was those, the substitution when Simons had to come off. And I thought that the crowd actually did their part to try to push for the equalizer. And when that happened, there was a newfound belief, from what I heard anyway, on the telly, that we could go on and get a second, which we then did. But what a change, what a complete swing in the atmosphere the moment we conceded just before the end of the injury time. So I would like to, shout out as well to anyone who was there at the stadium. If you were there to create an atmosphere, if you were there to support the players out there, regardless if they were starters or substitutions coming on, you did your part, and we are very, very fortunate that we were able to avoid defeat going into yet another international break. The next game, however, is the one where I have to give my early preemptive shout outs now to anyone traveling to the Emirates for what is going to be an electrifying Sunday evening game. The North London Derby is going to be on the 24th of November. I believe it's midnight here in Southeast Asia. So I think it should be 4:30. It should be about 4:30 p.m. kickoff. The North London Derby on the 24th of November. If anyone listening to this is part of the traveling contingency down the road to N7, have yourselves a safe match day ahead and enjoy the game while we still can. Let's just soak this up first, soak up the atmosphere before that North London Derby, because Sunderland have proven that Arsenal can be got at, and any team on the day can score against them. even in injury time. Sunderland have proven that themselves yesterday at the Stadium of Light, and I hope that we might just be able to preview that game when the domestic league resumes in a fortnight's time. If you're still doing this show on a Sunday, hopefully by then we have something positive to report on as far as the team news is concerned, because I am still waiting on whether Solanke will be able to, be playing any part at all for the rest of this calendar year. From what Thomas Frank is saying, I don't think that's on the cards right now, but 2 weeks is a very long time, so we'll just have to wait and see. But until such time, my final thoughts on yesterday's game. We were unfortunate not to get all 3 points at home. It did feel a lot like a Sheffield United at home from Big Angel's first season. If anyone remembers that late Kulusevski goal that got us all 3 points in that game against Sheffield. So, I mean, this is going to be a learning process for everyone involved. But as you rightly mentioned earlier, lots of positives to take from this game. We are still in and about the Champions League qualifications for next season. Let's just hope that we don't leave it too late till next year to book our place in next season's competition, assuming that is we are not going to win this season's competition. Having said that, thank you so much, Senor Garcia, and to everyone who's still here with us, who's still tuning to us. Have yourselves a fantastic end to this weekend. Having said that, back to you, FA.
Yeah, it's interesting, Chang, that when there's obviously an international break. Yeah, we will be back. The Sunday that we're back is the day that we play Arsenal, so it will be a pre-show, I would have thought, to that game. But then the weekend after, the Sunday after that, we will then be discussing Arsenal, Tottenham, PSG, Tottenham, and Tottenham, Fulham. So we're going to have quite a stacked show in 3 weeks' time or whatever. We'll have a stacked show. But yeah, it'll be about the Arsenal game. It'll be about players that are coming back. It'll be about the international break when we're back onto this in 2 weeks' time on the 23rd. You were talking about maybe having players back. I know that they've set up a sorry, can I just say big up or small downs, as I say, to Chris Agambar. Thank you for joining us, Chris. Pleasure to see you, mate. I hope you and the family are well. With during the international break, Tottenham will do a behind closed door match. They've already arranged it. I don't know who they're playing, but they did it the last international break. They did it against Watford. We lost it 2-1, but it's not the score. But we played Moani for 45 minutes, and I think they're setting one up, especially for Dragusin during the international break. But my thoughts were, I was hoping. No one said this at the moment, but I was hoping that for Dragusin, but maybe Solanke would get a run out in that as well, to try and aid his recovery or get him more up to speed. But it depends how far away he is. I mean, we keep hearing he's on the grass. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. And I don't know what's happened to Kota Takai. He seems to have vanished. Kota Takai has been bought from, and he just seems to have vanished. I don't know where he is. But yeah, for me, thank you very much to everyone that's tuned in today. And if you're watching it on playback, if you'd be so kind to give us a like, it helps us out immensely. And yeah, we'll be back in 2 weeks' time. So as always, Chang's final words are,
come on, you Spurs. Thanks, everyone. Absolutely pleasure. As always, Sino Garcia. And as I mentioned earlier as well, please enjoy the remainder of this Sunday, and may your weekend be filled with happiness and bliss. Thank you, everybody.
yeah, thank you everyone for watching. And if you can, do get a chance, go over and watch my shorts from yesterday's games, and that it all helps because each like, obviously, it helps for review and it helps for a like as well. It gets the algorithm going out there, as they say. But as always, thank you very much, everyone. Results show for predictions is tomorrow at 4 p.m. And what I will say, as always, is come on, you Spurs. Take care. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye bye.
Tell, Cockerel. He's just a true guy. You'll have a true time. Tell, Cockerel. Leave your troubles at the door. You know the game, you know the score. We're here to have fun, so holster that gun and read the writing on the wall. The predictions league, done every week. It just goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? Tell, Cockerel. He's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. Tell, Cockerel. Jose gets himself around. Always talking Spurs, wherever he is found, home or away. He always tips to win, throws the form book in the bin with a cheeky knowing grin. Tell, Cockerel. He's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. Tell, Cockerel. The predictions league, done every week. It just goes on and on and on and on. Why do I always get it wrong? Every time I play along. Tell, Cockerel. The show is so chilled. Your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at. Tell, Cockerel. It just goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? Tell, Cockerel. The show is so chill. Your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at.